I'm Mel Stewart, and this is a GMM Podcast. Joining me today is one of my favorite swimmers of all time. We're talking to 8-time Olympic medalist Regan Smith. Regan is training in Austin, Texas with Bob Bowman. That's SwimSwam's HQ. Regan is fresh off of World Championships, really fresh off of a vacation in Maui at the Four Seasons with the Walsh sisters, living her best life as a world-class swimmer. Of course, she suffered through the most recent World Championships where most of the swimmers had a stomach virus. She unpacks that. She unpacks her races. She unpacks facing off with Kaylee McKeown and her triumphant lead-off in the women's Medley Relay where she edged Kaylee McKeown. And she has insight into the drama that happened during World Championships where Ryan Lochte was vocal with his opinions on certain things and Michael shared it, and then Rowdy Gaines, the voice of swimming, came in and wrote an editorial on it. Regan has unique insider information that goes all the way back to May. So she's a veteran on the team, and she has some really great things to say. I hope that you enjoy this. Regan Smith. Are you on Instagram? Were you on Instagram 5 minutes before we pressed record?
I was not. Believe it or not.
You don't know what's going on. You're in the heat of the summer, and
I don't know what's going on.
It's still going on. Coleman, were you on Instagram 5 minutes?
I was on Instagram 10 minutes. I think I just missed this post.
Okay, I'm going to stick a
What's
pin
happening?
in that. I got to stick a pin in this and just say, Michael Phelps released a statement. The statement is based on some information that, for everything that happened during World Championships when he took the meme from Ryan Lochte and shared it to his Instagram page. And that meme was, is this a wake-up call for USA Swimming? We got 3 years to go. But basically, I'm paraphrasing. But Rowdy's been involved also in this conversation because Rowdy released an editorial on SwimSwam. He released it also on his Instagram page. And he also was interviewed by the Associated Press. And Rowdy unpacked his feelings on everything that happened this summer. I think everyone knows how SwimSwam has editorialized this. And now we get to talk to Regan. But before we do that, I spoke to Rowdy minutes ago. And Rowdy just said, wait, you're talking to Regan? I love Regan. Will you please tell Regan I love her? I don't know if you meant for me to do it publicly, but he says, could you say hi to her? He goes, Regan is the one national team member who is become a veteran and communicates very clearly. And she communicates clearly with me. And I want her to know that I have noticed.
I really appreciate Rowdy saying that a lot. He has truly had my back for the better half of 10 years. It's been 8 years now that we've had a really great relationship, and he adores my parents as well. So I feel like he's just become a family friend at this point. No, he's just been incredible, and I trust what he has to say, and I always respect what he has to say. And I think he is one of the few people that truly has USA Swimming's and the athlete's best interests at heart. He's just such an empath. So that means a lot. Thank you for passing that along.
He's super sensitive. He is an empath. He feels all his feelings, and he feels them very, very deeply. Your father is your dad, and I are about the same age. I like your dad a lot.
Yeah, he likes you too, Mom.
Yeah, I like your dad a lot. Your dad is okay. I think if we lived in the same town, we'd be hanging out a lot.
Yes, yeah.
He is okay. This is about you, and this is about World Championships. But because this news has happened, before we go in and unpack World Championships, can we talk a little bit about what the feeling was inside of the national team when you're deep into World Championships, you guys are battling illness, and then you see this messaging from an icon like Ryan Lochte, and then Michael Phelps uses it, and they're using that messaging, and they said what they said. What was the general feeling inside the Team USA camp?
It was pretty unfortunate, I'd say, and I don't want to speak for too many other people, but I just remember when I saw it, I was I got pretty riled up and I was upset. And I want to first recognize, look, that wasn't our best performance ever. I know, especially on the men's side, we struggled quite a bit. And I never want to be one to come up with excuses every single time that we don't perform our best. Because I feel like the biggest part of elite sport is competing and performing at an exceptionally high level despite the challenges, because I feel like every single competition you go to ever, something is going to go wrong. That's just part of it. Something terrible is going to happen, literally every single time, right? And so it's just learning to adapt and roll with the punches. And that's something that I've gotten very good at because I have a terrible immune system. So odds are when I'm at a competition, I'm sick. I just don't really talk about it because I figured out okay, with adrenaline, you can fake it and you can make it through the meet and you'll be fine. You don't feel great, but you can do it. This was very different, and people got it at varying levels, the illness. I got knocked on my butt pretty bad, but I was one of the first people to get it. So by the time the competition started, I was still struggling, but it was the same situation that I've had many times in the past where I don't feel great, but I can absolutely do it. I also didn't lose very much weight. And I know that some people, especially on the lost so much weight, over 10 pounds, were struggling to fuel themselves extensively. And so they get behind the blocks and they're just like, I can't move. And I honestly really commend them for getting behind the blocks and even trying it when they knew that they really had no business doing that in the state that they were in. So that's my preface on all of that. I think it was a circumstance that was unprecedented, to use that buzzword, and just unfair and crappy. But again, I also understand that's more or less always going to be the situation. It's never going to be 100% perfect. But I think to post a meme like that, there wasn't, and I want to be really respectful when I speak about this because I admire and respect Ryan Lochte and Michael Phelps so much. They were my heroes growing up. It was him, Ryan, Michael, Ryan, and Missy. Those were like the holy trinity for me. Adored them, and I will forever. But it was, in my opinion, and I say this with all due respect, I thought it was very senseless and zero thought was put into it. And I do give them the benefit of the doubt when Michael at least pulled back and said, hey, this wasn't about the athlete's performance. It was more about the organization. I do believe that. Because I do agree that I think that the problem lies more within the organization than the athletes themselves. I do sometimes feel like we don't get the support that we could totally be needing, but I also saw a lot of improvements this past summer. I think Greg did a great job, but we can get into more of that later.
You shared your perspective on the ground, very real, which is exactly what we wanted to hear, but you're also holding back because as a veteran national team member, leader on the team, somebody who's deep inside of swimming, you're aware of more information and you're not sharing it because you haven't fully read Michael's statement, and also because you're loyal and and so I've communicated with Phelps, and I can share what you know and what a lot of people don't know.
Okay.
What they know now, it's public now. So Phelps, in the background, you were aware that Phelps since May has he composed a letter and had nearly 150 Olympic medalists sign on to this letter endorsing it, along with the top 7 swimming clubs in the United States, plus former national team coach, Olympic team coaches. And they all signed on to this letter. And this letter was a reboot and a reset for United States swimming because they were upset with the direction that we were going in. And we've been eating up a lot of time going into a domestic Olympic quad. We're starting late. So since May, the entire conversation has been about United States swimming leadership, particularly the board of directors, which is how you know that. So when he made the statement, it's like, ooh, that's a cold bucket of water in the face. But when Michael came back later and said, well, wait a minute, I was talking about them, you're like, you knew from that perspective. But this is my internal opinion, is that Michael, here's another piece people don't know about, and we will report this later today. Michael was twisted and turned inside out by the most powerful people in the Olympic apparatus and in governance above USA Swimming not to release that letter. They were beside himself. The pressure was enormous. I think he got into day 5 or 6 and he was so angry. He just did that because he was so angry. Knowing now that you know that the letter, let me say this, the most applicable part for a current national team member is it's something that he airs out in a very professional, high-level kind of way in the statement that we're reporting now on SwimSwam. And it's about, he said that during his career, he saw problems, tried to speak up, and he was told to be quiet, and that he should just be thankful that he's a part of Team USA. And he felt used. Now, and that was the formal statement. Now, an emotional statement earlier in the week, he said, they treated me like a piece of meat. So they're both the same. They're both the same message, that there's a lot of daylight in between. As a national team member, it's challenging. I think it's gotten better over the decades, but God, I feel like I'm going to put you on the spot. You cannot answer this question. You can say, I'm not going to answer this question, but do you feel supported at the level that is necessary to achieve greatness for Team USA from the governing body? Do you feel that they could make improvements?
that these expectations that get put on you, do you feel supported to meet those?
I think in the past, there have been a lot of instances where I felt insanely let down. And again, I'm saying all of this, like, I wanna be very careful of like how I want to say this with respect to people like Greg, who got put into this position. I think he has a big mess to clean up. And Greg and I have our history, right? Like, we all know I was at Stanford and I left, and that was a whole thing. And I have to say, like, I was very pleased when he was announced as national team director. I do have a lot of faith that Greg, like, truly, when he has his USA hat on, he lives, breathes, and sleeps USA. And I say this completely unbiased because, right, like, Greg and I have, our own history that we went through. And so if I had a different opinion on it, I would. And I really have high hopes and high expectations for him. And so far, I do think that he has proved himself, that, he's going to continue to make great changes during this quad. I've really, really liked what I've seen so far from him. And he's always been a very natural leader. He's always been so articulate, so many other things too. But so I want to say that first. But I guess to then shortly answer Mel's question, there have been many instances in the past where I felt incredibly let down. I think off the top of my head, I think about last summer and how Eric was deliberately left off staff for the Paris Olympics last year. I think that was a very calculated move on the staff and the administration's part when we had, I don't even know how many Texas athletes we had. And I'm so grateful that Carol was there. Carol had never been my coach before, but Carol saved all of us. Like, she was putting together like 8 different workouts for people, working with Eric back home, having to deliver all these different workouts to us, being in 18 different places at once, making sure that we all had what we needed. And she was just being spread so thin, kept her cool the entire time. So she saved us. And from an emotional standpoint, like, as a girl, having a woman's coach on staff, that was incredible. But at the end of the day, I love Carol to death. Like, I'm so glad that I'm in Texas with her now. She's been great for me. But last year in that moment, she wasn't Eric, she wasn't what I completely wanted to be there. And I felt so betrayed because I was just like, for God's sakes, you guys, I won 3 individual events at trials. I had the meet of my life. I broke a world record in the 100 backstroke, and you're not going to put my freaking coach on staff? Like, are you kidding me? I was furious. And I talked to Lindsay Mintenko beforehand. I was like, can we please try to do this? Like, I'm on staff. Simone's on staff. Drew Kibler's on staff, or non-staff, but you know what I'm saying, on the team. Chase Kalish, Paige Madden, and we won so many medals for this country, and they were just like, they had some vendetta, I think, and so they didn't do it. And I think that was a perfect example of not putting Team USA first. It was putting some different agenda first. And again, I want to be very careful when I say all of this, because I'm not trying to be disrespectful here. I'm not trying to point fingers at people. I'm just trying to report what truly happened and how I felt about it. And I think from anyone, the outside looking in, it's like, why wasn't he on staff? There were so many of you guys who were on the team. And, Bob, I think, was rightfully busy with France. He had very big fish to fry over there. I don't hold that against Bob at all. He should have been doing that. We all agreed with that, but we wanted Eric so badly, and we deserved Eric. And I think it was a big blow to all of us. And so that, I think, is the prime example of us not getting what we need because it was just some bigger agenda going on. And I think with different and better leadership, that would never happen. And I do truly think that Greg won't let things like that happen because he has his USA hat on and he understands that we need to do what's best for Team USA, not let our personal feelings get in the way. So I'm really hoping that that's something that will change. But I think in terms of feeling supported or lack of support, Mel, to go back to your question one more time, it's just that I think is the biggest thing where I've been like, guys, what the heck? I guess my other thing is sometimes with high performance, I'm like, I miss Russell Mark so much. We saw it at Worlds last week. I got my butt kicked off the start every single time. And my start has been fairly inconsistent over the years, but like to see it as such a blaring weakness, I think, across all 3 distances in the backstroke, I'm so confident that like if Russell was a part of USA Swimming and was working with the athletes and was working with me, I had such a great relationship with him and I had more consistent feedback from him, I think it would be my start would become such a weapon for me, right? And it's like, I think my competitors, the people who I compete against internationally and even to an extent nationally, they have people who care so much about those little details. But yeah, I think that's another thing too. And it's like, we need to not let our personal feelings get in the way of what's actually best for Team USA. It's like we need the people who are actually looking to make those little tweaks and those little changes that make all the difference in terms of knocking off 500ths of a second here or 0.2 there. So yeah, those are my thoughts about it. I hope that makes sense. And yeah.
For anybody listening out there, I promise you, we're going to get into world championships and we're actually going to talk about races and we're going to unpack that. We're still on this topic and we're going to wrap it up here soon. In terms of what you're just talking about, we're going to follow up with coaches in national team selection. Up until last year, there was no criteria. It was not based on the World Aquatics point system. It was just playing favorites. And so when you say agenda
selection,
the selection for the Olympic Games, that people did feel like it was we're playing favorites. Who do we like? Who do we not like? And it wasn't about the best interest of the athletes. And that was, you're not alone. A lot of people have said that. I don't want you to feel like you're vulnerable. That was an enormous message that USA Swimming heard, which is why they hired a national team director. In terms of support, it should be said that you have one of the best representation in the Olympic apparatus, and with Eric Wright, correct?
My coach Eric?
No. With Erica Wright.
Oh, Erica. Yeah, that's my agent, Erica. Yeah.
With best representation on the private side. See, you have great representation. Financially, you have a person who's really advocating for you. But in terms of the Olympic apparatus, the Olympics has never been in a better financial position in history. The $18 million in contracts and rights, $1 billion in reserves. It's part of the reason why USA Swimming had such a huge budget this past year in 2024, but we were down on sponsorships. We're flat in registration. Athlete partnership agreement. Has it been flat since 2010, 2000? If I talk to someone from the 2010-12 era, they're like, I think it's the same. It's kind of the same.
Yeah, that's what people who've been around longer than me have said that. I know that when I made my first national team 8 years ago, it hasn't changed at all since then. And I think that's crazy with the way that things have inflated. It's like, okay, I can maybe pay rent with it, but
this is the statement that I was hoping you would talk about a little bit. This is the knock for anybody who's ever represented the red, white, and blue. USA Swimming can make all the statements they want. It can release 1,000 press releases and say they care about athletes and how much they love them. But if you look at financials and you compare how athletes are supported financially, that has been flat since 2010, and we'll double check those numbers. If you compare that to the C-suite, which is the leadership, and what they've been paid since 2010 to 2025, those numbers do not match up. So I can say, I love you all day long, but where you spend dollars love is a verb, it's action. And that has not happened. So it is my hope that part of the Phelps message and part of the conversation that comes out this summer is that the national team are going to get what they deserve going forward in support. I don't know what that would look like. I'd kind of like to understand financially what it would look like, but I think it's dire because I think we have some talent that are going, do I delay my career chasing this dream, or do I start my adult life in my career? I'm educated, so people go to great schools. I think those are the decisions that people are making, and USA Swimming's making it very difficult on them.
They are. Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. It's a huge thing. And I feel very grateful. I'm in a decent position. Like you said, I have Erica on my side and she's been incredible. And I feel like I've worked very hard over the years to build my brand and represent myself a particular way as well. And so I feel grateful that there are outlets outside of the USA Swimming APA stipend that take care of me. And so I recognize that I'm, a more fortunate athlete and I'm in a more fortunate position, but the national team's big, and the economy makes it very difficult also to survive in this country, depending on your financial situation, right? And I feel like people talk about it all the time at national team camps, on trips, just in general. It's a big buzz, and I feel like people are finding any ways they can to make extra money and scrape by, whether it's like trying to become an influencer on TikTok or Instagram or things like that, just any way they can to try to make some extra money. And I completely get it because it's just like, it's so difficult otherwise to try to make ends meet with a sport like swimming that is pretty expensive anyways. It's just a very unfortunate situation. And if you don't mind, I'm changing the subject just for a second, but we'll go right back. The other thing I wanted to mention with Phelps's and Rowdy's letter, like, completely agree with that there does need to be change, but I also did want to mention, like, I wish that they perhaps, because I have so much experience in the sport, so I wish that they had some recommendations as to what change could be made, because I don't know what change should be made. It's like I might have ideas and I agree that there should be change, but I feel like I haven't been very vocal about it because I don't think that we should point fingers and say, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. You know, the system's a mess, without trying to offer some form of like, hey, here are some ideas of specifically what we could do to make things better. And if they have ideas behind the scenes that they just haven't shared, maybe because, as you were stating, Mel, like they've been, you know, kind of put in tough positions by the organization, then I completely understand it. But I do feel like morally there's some confusion with like just pointing fingers, but then not offering, you know, solutions. So
they have solutions.
Okay.
They're not
That's
shared.
awesome to hear.
They have solutions. They have not shared the solutions. Those solutions are going to be coming out in the coming weeks.
We're hold on. We're reporting in Phelps' statement. He offers 3 as an initial step forward. He proposes an independent review of USA Swimming's board of directors, streamline athlete services, develop a proactive athlete first way to support athletes, and focus on strengthening grassroots level of the sport. So I guess those are sort of specific. Certainly the first one is just an independent review of the board, but yeah, so this is providing some of that, but I think we can all agree that yes, the tombstone meme was not proactively offering a solution.
Yes.
Yeah.
But those are 3 points. Those are the tip of the iceberg. More are going to come out.
Okay.
Yeah. We're so inside swimming right now. Do you get feedback about Primerica, your representation, that she's tough? It's like, Regan, your representation's too tough. Do you ever get that?
I never get it to me, no. I don't know if like my dad would get it because he works pretty closely with Erica. They're a good duo. She's just tough and she knows how to get what she wants and desires. That's part of the reason why she herself is so unbelievably successful. And again, excuse my language, but she's such a badass. Like, who cares? Honestly, if she's tough to work with, it's like tough. Like, that's who she is. Like, that's why she is who she is. So I adore her. Yeah, I'll always defend her.
I hear endlessly, particularly from USA Swimming, inside USA Swimming, about how tough she is.
I'm sure.
And I love that because she's not tough. This is what I love about your representation. She has zero time for anything. This is what she says. She tells you, this is the way it is. This is what I want. This is what you're going to do for Regan. If you're not going to do it, you know, this is how Regan feels. This is what we're doing. And it's so plain. It's so clear. And I think she is, I'm a huge proponent, very, very happy with her because you always know where you stand with her.
Yes.
She doesn't, the communication is so very clear because it's dollars and cents and your life is on the line. So I don't know how much more we can air this out before people just like hate us for not talking about it.
I mean, I honestly, I think there's so much to talk about and I'm so happy to talk about world championships too, but like, I wouldn't want people to be like, oh, okay. Like, I want to hear more about like the fun stuff, what's going on. And I suppose I have a couple more things I want to maybe mention just about like back to the tombstone piece. And again, maybe this is excuses. I think my cat wants to come in. Oh my gosh.
Bring your cat in.
I welcome. She might. She's at the door.
Are you still a Nulo cat person?
Yes, I am a Nulo. She's a little diva with her Nulo treats and food. She loves Nulo. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. She might come in. But anyways, yeah. Can you just close the door, Dad? I'm sorry, guys. Okay.
Hi, Dad.
Yeah. And again, I don't want this to come off like I'm sitting here making excuses for USA Swimming. I always try to view things and explain things as like, hey, I think this is the logical way to look at it. This is just like the fact of like how things are. When Michael and Ryan were competing, and of course, they're so unbelievably incredible, but when they were competing, the international level competition, in my opinion, and if you guys want to disagree with me because you've been around longer, you've seen more of the sport, but I think that it was not nearly as deep as what it is today. Like the talent level internationally has done nothing but absolutely skyrocket. And like heck yeah, that's so good for the sport. Like I'm not complaining about that. Like, you see me, I'm getting silver after silver after silver. And it's just like, well, great. Like I have competition every time I get in the water to compete. And so I think that's incredible. But I think people also need to understand it's like USA Swimming dominated for so many years, but I think they had a bit of a smaller mountain to climb than we do now. And additionally, it's like all of our top competition, minus maybe Australia, they train here in the US, you know what I mean? And so I think just at Texas alone, we have Hubie, we have Leon, and we have Summer coming. And I'm not upset about that. I love training with Hubie and Leon. They have made me so much better as an athlete, as a swimmer. I've learned so much from them. So I'm not saying get rid of them at all. It's just a fact of the matter. It's like they are coming and getting our excellent coaching. They get our great facilities at Texas. And so they get to reap our benefits, but then they don't have to go through a lot of the hoops that us as US athletes have to go through. For example, double trials. Also, they're like the stipend situation, their federation pays for much more than our federation pays for. And I think, for example, 3 weeks after World Champ Trials, Bob had like about a dozen of us go back to Indianapolis for the Indy Summer Cup.
Yeah.
And we all went against our will. We didn't want to go. But yeah, I know that like the international people, for example, it's like their federation, I think, and if I'm wrong, I'm sorry, guys. I don't mean to like give false information, but I'm pretty sure that their federation pays for their trip, right? And so it's their flight, their hotel, their food. It's on Hungary, it's on France. And great. Like I wish that would be great. But then for all of us American athletes, we pay for that out of pocket. And so it's just like
I paid to go back to Indianapolis.
Yeah, we did. We paid a lot of money just to go back to the freaking Indy Summer Cup meet and swim 3 events in one session. And
jump in here for 1 second.
Yeah.
Financially, it is much better if you try. You could swim at the back of the lane and then just entered USA Swimming and ascended to being a C-suite leadership person. Financially, it's better to do that than it is to win medals.
Yeah, I believe
Financially better. Just want to make that point. I'm out.
There's just so many disparities, I suppose. And again, I want to make it so clear. I love having them. It's awesome. So I'm not saying like, stop letting the international swimmers train with us. It's so unfair. Like we need to protect their, like, no, but it's just understanding that this is the fact of the matter. Like the competition is getting nothing but better overseas, but then a lot of them are coming over here and getting our great training and then not having to deal with the stuff that we have to deal with over here, with the stipend stuff, with the double trials, with I don't even know what else, but I'm sure there's a billion other factors that play into it. And so it's just, that's what people need to recognize. Like, and I don't want to sit here and say they have it so much easier than us, because I don't want to sit here and sound like I'm bitching and complaining, but it's a very different situation. And that's what I think people, especially people who aren't in the sport and again are only looking at the sport through the lens of Lochte and Phelps, like the people who just followed them and then follow swimming because of them. Again, all they see is that we're not as dominant as we used to be, but there's so much underneath the surface that I feel like people are missing. And so I want that to be made clear too. You know, it's a very different situation than it was 15 or 20 years ago, or even 10. So it's just, I don't know.
Regan,
and please disagree with me if I'm...
Regan, we live streamed all 8 days of World Championships, and I said word for word what you just said to Mel every day when he's like, what is happening to USA Swimming? And I'm like, come on, Boomer. You gotta...
I am not a boomer.
Gotta wake up.
I am not a boomer. Regan's dad is not a boomer. We're Gen X.
But...
Were you guys talking about that? I'm so sorry to cut you off, Coleman. He mentioned it the other day. He was like, I'm Gen X. I'm not a boomer. I'm sorry, Coleman.
We were talking about it the other day. I was talking to your dad the other day. I'm like, we're Gen X.
Yeah.
Very proud. Very proud.
I'm going to say this, and this will segue us in. This is my thought. You go 203 in the 200 free, so in the 200 backstroke at the 2019 World Championships. And in my mind, I've said it before, I thought that was a Mary T. Maher 1980, 1981 200 butterfly moment where for 3 decades.
How long did that world record? Till 2009.
It lasted forever. Mary T's time from the early 80s, in 1981, would still make the Olympic team in 2024. But I thought that your 203 was in that. I said, oh God, we have a swimmer who's moving into that place, that iconic. And I think we all did. I think a lot. It was just like, whoa, yay, huge. And here's what happened. You moved into an era where it's like, oh my God, this is a meat grinder of competition. I think we're in a position now where it's like the Phelps Lochte rivalry. It's like, instead of the Mary T. Maher dominance, you're into this rivalry that has become the show. We know that. Coleman and I know this because we're watching our metrics and traffic like the Matrix. And when you guys swim, suddenly it goes like this.
Really?
A huge spake off. Yes, this is prime. This is prime time. So I don't like that the feeling I had in 19 was not what it was.
Yeah.
But I do like that this has been it's the biggest show in swimming. I think that's also a great feather in your cap.
Yeah. Yeah. It has gotten lots of great attention, which I'm really proud to be a part of it, honestly. And it is funny, like in 2019, when I did go 203, Kaylee was silver and she wasn't under 206, right? And so, right, you're sitting here so confident, like, wow, like, yeah, maybe I am entering this era of dominance. Like, oh my goodness. But that girl is so tough and so talented. And so she's like, nope, not on my watch. And then she figures it out and has been so unbelievably incredible for 5 years now. And yeah, I wasn't prepared mentally. I think I could have been prepared physically. And then I just completely fell off the horse for a couple of years there, just because I couldn't handle that. Just bluntly, I wasn't that kind of swimmer. I didn't have the mental fortitude to do it. And so then I just got my butt kicked for many years. And I know I have continued to just sit there right behind her for many years. But at the end of the day, it's like, I am super glad that people watch it as closely as they do. And again, I think it's super good for the sport. But I think this is another point. It's like, I'm sitting here going 204 low in the 200 back, 57.3 in the 100. And we won't talk about my 50 because that wasn't great overall, but like whatever. And I think people look at that and all they see, again, from people who don't pay as close attention to swimming, maybe it's like they tune in, but they're not like deep swimming fans. They don't understand the sport. All they see is like, oh, the Americans getting silver, like yawn, like whatever. And it's like, you have to understand swimming is a time-based sport, and what Kaylee's doing is absolutely obscene, and what she's been able to do year after year after year is absolutely unreal. But 204 and 57.3 is also absolutely unheard of these days. It's like Missy was 204 low and Kirsty Coventry was also 204. But it's like that is so rare over a decade, right? And so I think that's just another thing. It's like, if like any other year, any other person, if I hadn't overlapped with Kaylee, I would have so much dominance. And so that's like not taking away from Kaylee, and that's not trying to like pat myself on the back, but it's just showing like the competition is getting so unbelievably hard. And so we're up here so far head and shoulders above everyone else. But
add context, because I'm not saying I snooped you, but we snooped you a little bit. My understanding was that you snooped.
We didn't bring you on here to talk about Michael Phelps.
Yeah.
My understanding was that you took, you had your Olympics and then you took a post-Olympic year and you've been off.
Okay, yeah.
And I was like, I don't, if you get on the podium in a post-Olympic year after you've taken time off, it's kind of like, that's a win. Like, cause you were out of it. Weren't you out? When you didn't really come back until like April? Is that correct?
Yeah, I didn't do anything. I like swam because I really like swimming. I enjoy it. I enjoy competition. I love practicing. So I was like swimming, I would say, until World Cup, where I would show up. I didn't do any doubles. I think I swam once a day until World Cup, and I would show up. I was going last like every single day. I remember like my good friend Catherine Randall, she swam for Riptide with me. So we like did club together. She's at ASU, and I would like make her go in front of me every day at practice. I was just like, do your thing. I'm gonna hang back here. So I was showing up and keeping my feel, but I was not training, So then I go to World Cup and I'm like, oh my gosh, like what a treat. Like this went amazingly well. At least I have a base in me. But I don't want people to think that I was sitting there lying, being like, oh, like I wasn't training, to like try to take the pressure off myself and then go to World Cup and do great. Like I wasn't doing anything, like literally nothing. I was touching water. And then November comes and I'm like, okay, like I still didn't do much the first 2 weeks of November. And because I remember my sister got married, so I was home doing that. Didn't swim while I was home. And then it was Thanksgiving. I came here for Thanksgiving and I was swimming over Thanksgiving. And then there was 1 week, the week before we left for Short Course Worlds, where I did 5 6K practices with Bob. And that was the hardest I had worked for the last 4 months of 2024. So I did 5 6Ks. I got my butt kicked. I was like, I did not miss this. Oh my gosh. And then I go to short course worlds, and I think that I wasn't rested enough until like, cause if you guys noticed, I got faster as the meet went on. And I think those 5-6Ks like really put me in a bit of a hole. And then I rested as the meet got on and went faster.
Where you won 7 medals, 4 gold, 2 silver, 1 bronze.
Yeah, it was a slam dunk, right? It was incredible. And so then after that meet, as I mentioned earlier, my immune system's awful. I get sick all the time. So I got super sick after that meet. So I took about 10 days out of the water after that. I went home for Christmas for a solid 8 days, 9 days, didn't swim at all. Or if I did, I did like a 2K because my friends were there and I wanted to talk to my friends. Didn't do anything. Didn't really start training again until 2025. And then once January hit, I bumped it up a little bit, you know, trying to take things a little bit more seriously. But I was basically just doing more of that, like swimming a little bit harder, but not doing much of anything until, to Mel's point, April. Then my lease in Tempe was up, so I wasn't training under Herbie or Derek Schmidt anymore.
You were still bouncing between Austin and...
Yes, I was. I was doing half and half, so I would do 2 weeks and 2 weeks or whatever, and I was living the life. I was loving it. I adore Tempe, and I want to move back there someday. So yeah, I was really trying to soak it in as much as I could. And then April 1st hits. Bob was like, okay, I need you to be back now. My lease ends. I'd move out of that apartment. And I start full-time with Bob in Texas. And then we get our butts kicked. So we're just doing like 8,000 meters a day in same color sets, these really hard aerobic IM sets, stroke sets. We did this 4,000 for time one day where it was 8 rounds of a 300 free, 200 fly. I got like dogged. So, and we just started doing that. Yeah, it was terrible, you guys. We just started doing that off of 8 months of nothing, right? So I'm just like, I want to go back to my break. Like, what are we doing?
Stop it, Bob. Stop.
Yeah,
Bob.
right. Yeah. And so I remember telling Bob back before all this happened, like in September, about a year ago, I said to him, when I told him what I wanted my plan for the year to be, I was like, I just want to make the team in one event. If I can do the 2 fly or the 100 back or the 2, like something, I want to make it in one individual event. And he was like, are you sure about that? Like when it comes time to, I think you're going to get pretty competitive. And I was like, you know what? You might be right. I might, but also I want to do this for myself and play the long game and show up for myself emotionally and do what I want to do and let the chips fall where they may. But he was kind of right, because then when we got to nationals, I was like, well, crap, like I would love the opportunity to do my full roster at Worlds because I like to race. I like to race internationally. And then that nationals was so hard to get through because he didn't fully rest me for it because he wanted me to be my fastest at Worlds. So I was tired off of that very brief stint of 8Ks and 7Ks and the 4,000s per time. And it showed, right? Because I couldn't win anything until the 100 back came around. And so yeah, but again, very long-winded explanation, but I walked into Worlds already being like, okay, I don't know, I would love to win some money. I'm happy that I get to do all 4 events. This is great. And then when I got sick, I remember I was like out of the water for 72 hours, I think, like 5 days before
Thailand
started. In Thailand, yeah, like 3 days I didn't touch the water. And I was just like, how am I supposed to finish a 200 fly and a 200 back now? Like you just get in your head, right? But I know logically I have the base under me. I'm going to be fine. But when you go through something like that, the last thing you want to do is compete at a high level, you know? Like you want to start making excuses and being like, oh, I'm not ready. I'm not going to be good. Like, so yeah, I walked into Worlds being like, I think I could go 204 or I could go 207 in either of my 200s. Like, I don't know how this is going to go. And so yeah, doing 4 silvers, that's like my best medal haul I think I've ever had, because in 2023 when I won 4 individual medals, I got bronze in the 2 fly. So that was literally my best ever. So that was probably about as good as it could have possibly gone. And I was very confident that like a 57.3 was going to win it. I thought slower than a 57.3 was going to win the 100 back. So hats off to Kaylee, because I know that she took a big fat break too. So the tips fell where they did, and it was kind of incredible. But I feel like sometimes stuff like that happens, and it's like a reverse psychology moment where you come in and you have absolutely zero expectations, and then, you know, you swim super freely because of it, and you're like, I don't care what the results are. And then you're able to like swim really chill and relaxed because of that, and then you swim really fast. So thank you guys for listening to that. I know I can talk a lot.
No,
we're here for.
That was perfect. We like that unpacking. Wait, I just want to say this: we have great respect for our Australian peers, and we're Kaylee fans too. Why can't she beat you in the medley when you lead off the medley relay?
I've wondered that so many times. I like after the 100, I was bummed, right? Like, I want to make it like I love to win, and it's not a complacency thing where when I'm silver, I'm still very happy with it. It's more so like I have to become detached from the results and be like, I don't want to look at the one thing that I don't have. I'm instead going to look at everything that I do have. So yeah, I want to make that clear first. Like, I love winning. Like, losing's not the best, but at the same time, oh my God, I've still gained so much from this. I'm not going to be depressed about it and pour myself in a hole. There's no point in doing that. But after the 100 back, when I got silver, and I was like, God, like, damn, like we're just getting faster and faster each year, and she's just squeaking by like every single time. So I'm just like, how does she do it? Like, she's a wizard. Like, oh my gosh. And I remember I think I was texting my dad, and I was just like, I will do it in the medley. I promise you, like, I'm going to do it in the medley. And now maybe I've jinxed it, and maybe next year that won't happen. So that'd be funny. But I was just like, this is going to happen in the medley. And then granted, we both went quite a bit slower, which is like, why does that happen? But yeah, I did it in the medley. And I'm just like, I don't know, because that's the 3rd year in a row or 4th year in a row that's happened in the medley. And I don't know. I don't know at all.
Okay. So maybe some people when they're racing, it's like you're doing the individual events, it's for you. But when you're standing with your teammates, it's about you, it's about your teammates, and it's about Team USA.
And I mean, can you take us to that medley relay? Because again, at that point in the meet, we'd seen the tombstone. We'd see you'd won 4 silvers, which again is a huge accomplishment, but it's also 4 silvers. So like, where were you heading into that relay?
Yeah, from a pride perspective, I wanted to win. I was just like, I want a gold. I also wanted to win my leg of the race. I was like, that's important to me from another, silly ego perspective. I was like, I want to prove to myself that I can do this again. And we knew that the world record was on the line, just depending on like where splits would fall. And so we were pretty fired up for it, and we just wanted to do what we could do. And I think I swam that race pretty poorly, honestly. So I'm very happy that I squeaked my hand on the wall first. But I feel like I've said this many times. My like kryptonite is I think I'm not aware of how much easy speed I can have sometimes. And so the first 50 felt easy, but I think I took it out way too fast. I was out in like 7.7, which I don't think I need to be doing in order to go 57.1 or 56.9 or something, because that's like the goal, someday. So yeah, it's like I'm just not aware. Sometimes I don't have a great base of how easy or how fast I'm going on the first 50. And so yeah, I don't think I swam that super well from a strategy perspective, but I think I was just so hyped up and wanted our relay to do good so bad. I was just out of the gates like a bat out of hell, and I was like, let's just see if I can finish. Okay. So there wasn't a lot of thinking, I think, going on. I think I did a much better job of strategizing in the individual. But yeah, that's what was going through my head. That's, I think, what we were all thinking in the race is we wanted to, end on a bang and end with some pride, especially after watching the men get bronze and with Alexi's amazing closing split. So that fired us up too. Yeah, we had a lot of thoughts going on, I think. And we were also excited to be finished because I think we were all ready for a break. We'd been through hell internally. I'm sorry to keep cussing, guys. But yeah, there are a lot of emotions.
Oh my gosh. I mean, just going through that, all week, Mel and I were just like, we both think we're like the strongest humans on earth. And then if we have a stomach ache, it's like, I can't do anything.
Nope, it's awful.
I'm done. And to go through, like, to get on a plane to 72 hours of like sickness and puking and whatever else, and then to get on a plane and go to another country where you're not sleeping in your own bed, you're not eating your own food. And then what I'm curious about, you won 4 silver medals. You swam 4 events. Like, how did you manage that schedule? You've done this before, but on the back of puking your guts out.
Yeah. It was really rough. And again, I'm grateful. We had I want to speak mostly about myself, so I'll be careful of other people's privacy, but we got it in waves, right? And so it didn't hit everyone at once. It kind of hit us. And I was one of the first people to get it. Middle of the night, it was Tuesday morning, July 23rd or 22nd, whatever that day was, but it was a Tuesday morning. We were traveling Wednesday, and I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm like, something's very wrong with me. And so then, yeah, up until traveling, I didn't eat anything. I had 2 bottles of water, a piece of bread very slowly, but my stomach was not liking anything. And so, yeah, it continued. I eventually got control of myself after about 48 hours, but my stomach flipped when I thought of eating anything. So I don't want to exaggerate. I think it was 9 days that I was eating a 90% liquid diet. I would have oatmeal 4 times a day. For lunch, I would have one of those mountain meals, so those freeze-dried camping meals. USA Swimming brings those, and that's basically mush. So I'm just eating mush for lunch. And then at dinner, I couldn't stomach like chicken breast or like fresh. I couldn't do anything. And so I would have a protein shake at dinner. And after like 3 days of doing that, my body was just like, girl, like you're on empty. Like, because things were just going right through me. Like I was in control of myself, but I wasn't absorbing anything. And so I felt like I was just in crisis mode, but my body was just like kind of on adrenaline that entire time. So I was like, well, at the end of the day, I have a job to do. And I think the worst part about everything, and this didn't necessarily impact performance, it was just very annoying and painful, is once I didn't feel sick or nauseous anymore, for about 5 days, I had debilitating intestinal cramping. Like, and they came like contractions. It was the strangest thing. Like I feel completely fine. And then 10 or 15 seconds, I would like double over and like I couldn't stand, couldn't walk. And it felt like my intestines were like twisting and pulling. And I want to say it started on Thursday and when we got to Singapore, and it ended, thank God, it ended Monday morning, which is when the 100 back started. Okay. And every night I was like, I'm a baby. So every night I was just crying, being like, I can't sleep. It was better when I was active during the day and then was worse at night when I was just stagnant. And so I couldn't fall asleep till like 2:30, 3 a.m. every single night. I was just, complaining and crying and being super upset and being like, I don't want to be here. This has been the worst thing I've ever experienced. Like, get me out of here. And I did not want to do the 2 fly. I wanted to scratch that desperately. And I was kind of trying to slyly ask Eric about it. I was like, hey, from a stamina perspective, like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. And what he said to me, he was like, okay, let's just take it day by day. Like, you're looking great. And Eric's so even keel. So he was just like, you're looking great. Let's just try the prelims and we'll just take it from there.
That's a great impression of Eric.
It is. Yeah, he's awesome. But I was like, well, shoot, if I'm doing prelims of the 2 fly, I don't want to just scratch it after that. Like, why? And also, Tess Howley had just gone 205.2 at World University Games. I was like, I don't want to scratch this because she should have been here then. Like, I didn't want to like feel, what's the word? Entitled. Like, I didn't want to feel entitled, like having this spot and then just being like, but like, I'm not going to take it. When she, didn't have the swim that she probably wanted to have at trials and then put up something incredible at World University Games. Like, I feel like that would have been very disrespectful on my part to her to not do that swim after she went 205.2. You know what I'm saying? Like, if the roles were reversed, I'd be like, come on, like even with the circumstances.
Right.
So that was my thought process with everything. I'm very glad that I ended up doing it. When I saw 204.99, I was like, that was about what I thought I could do if I put together something awesome. Like, I'm super pleased with that. But I did not want to do it. Did not want to do it at all. And then I was super scared for the 2 back then too afterwards. I was like, maybe I'm out of gas now. Like, maybe things are gonna, but I mean, the body can do incredible things, right? When you're under adrenaline, when there's expectations and pressure, like your body can just do incredible things in fight or flight. So that's, I'm sure, what pushed me the rest of the way. But it was a very, very difficult experience. Very difficult.
If you had to do it over and you were the god of swimming, would you have gone to a different training site?
No. I really like I did. I think I would have said, let's not leave campus. I didn't go visit the elephants because I didn't want to risk getting sick. Because like I said, I get sick all the time. And I think my immune system has gotten worse since I got mono. Like I was sick. I never talked about this because I was like, what's the point? Like being sick, like people aren't going to give you a medal for being sick, but I was sick at the beginning of Paris. I moved into a hotel and was there isolating by myself. I don't know what I had, if it was COVID or just a cold or what, but I was sick for the front half of the games. I was sick at World Cup for the Singapore stop of World Cup. I was sick. Then I got sick right after short course Worlds. So sick, down for like 2 weeks. And I was sick at training camp in Thailand. Right before I got the illness thing, the stomach thing, I had like a head cold. So I get sick all the time. So that is why I didn't go see the elephants, because I was like, I don't want to risk anything. Like my immune system is just terrible. And then of course I still got destroyed. So
Someone needs to feed you some raw garlic. Keep pretty raw garlic.
Yeah.
Yeah, what are your tips and tricks for like boosting your immune system, or like how what do you do when you are sick now? Do you have like a polar routine?
Oh, I need advice because I can't stay healthy. You know what I mean? I don't know what to do. I mean, I try to bring hand sanitizer with me everywhere now. I try to just slam fluids. Sometimes I'll take emergency, but most of the time I just like, I don't have tips and tricks, and maybe that's my problem. Like maybe I need some like official advice, even if it's placebo, but it's like, hey, when you start feeling sick, do X, Y, and Z, and then you'll feel better. I don't know. But right now I don't do anything.
I have an idea. I'll share it with you off camera.
Okay.
No, I'll share mine with you on camera because this was a problem for me, Regan. I was getting sick all the time. And when I moved back to New York a year ago, here's my two. I take cold showers.
Okay.
I do, when I'm at the gym, I do 15 minutes in the sauna and I do a 90-minute cold shower. Or every night I shower before bed. I'll take my normal shower and then do 90 seconds cold, the coldest it goes.
Okay.
And ginger shots, which I think that might be a placebo, but it makes you feel good.
Works. Yeah. Okay. Noted.
Every time I go to the grocery store, I get a few ginger shots. Especially when we travel, like when I go cover trials, US trials, and it's like an 8-day meet or a 5-day meet or whatever. Our photographer, Jack, and I will go to Whole Foods and we get ginger shots for every day. And it's like, okay, I don't want to get sick during this meet. And I think it is.
Okay. I need to start taking your advice, so I will do that.
Those are my secrets.
It's stress. It's just stress. Stress kills you. I'm going to share.
Like some people handle it so well, and I don't know.
My opinion on this is, and I'll share it on camera because it's whatever. It's an opinion. I believe, and it's people are going to get mad at me. I believe in therapy. I think that having a therapist is good. I think if you're an athlete, you should have a therapist. And I think doing EMDR, if you know what EMDR is, doing EMDR around the moments where your immune system is compromised. And I think that as a modality, that's a good thing to help. It would provide good information. If someone wants to research that, they could research that. But that's my 2 cents. We're going deep in the weeds now. Too deep in the weeds, Regan.
This podcast is wild.
Deep in the weeds. This is like, we're just unpacking. We're solving the problems of United States swimming. We're solving the Michael Phelps and Lochte meme. We have to have Regan on every week.
So Regan, I'm curious, just again, you went into this year with, okay, it's the post-Olympic year. I'm taking my break. You took your big break. You got back into it. I mean, I have to imagine that at Worlds, it was hard keeping hold of that. Like, hey, you took a break this year, right? Like not having that as an excuse, but also now that your World Champs is over, you're home. Like, how do you feel like that has settled with you?
And my performance?
Yeah, or just your performance based on the year that you had leading up
based on the year. Yeah, like as good as it could be, honestly. And as I've said a couple of times now, like in the past year or so, I have worked so hard to have a positive relationship with myself and with the sport, no matter what the outcomes of my performances are, just because I feel like you could see it on my face for many years after 2019. I hated competing. I was never happy. I was never content with my performances. Like when I made the Olympic team for the first time in Tokyo, I was relieved. I wasn't ecstatic and happy. Like I hated it. And I was truly very depressed. Like I was not okay. And I wish I'd been talking to someone about it. But for many years, I struggled so deeply. Nothing was ever good enough. My expectations for myself were over the moon, sky high. And I think we should have high expectations for ourselves, but we shouldn't get so lost in them that we forget what it's all about, which sounds cliche, but it's very true. And so I think even this year, if I had a relatively poor performance, it would have been a great test to look in the mirror and be like, dude, this is what you were prepared for. Like, this is the year that you had. This is the year that you chose to have. You're playing the long game. Like, if I'd gotten 8th place in things, that would have sucked so bad. But I think it would have been a great learning moment to be like, this is what you were prepared for, what might happen. Like, cut yourself some slack and give yourself some grace. But yeah, I just had so many thoughts about like my relationship with my performances and the outcomes. And I feel like I've had so many people look at me with pity or think that washed or that I'm complacent because, all I do is get second place nowadays. And again, as I mentioned a couple minutes back, like I love to win and the goal is always to win. And so it's not fun to get second, but at the same time, I was so hard on myself and so nasty to myself. And I was so utterly depressed in swimming for so many years, just didn't enjoy life. Like I just didn't see the point of so many things and was just so deep in a hole. And I just got to a point where I was like, that's not the point of swimming and life. Like, I don't want to do that. It's about appreciating the little things and looking at everything that you do have and not looking at the one thing that you don't have. And I suppose some people could look at that perspective as complacency and like, you're free to think whatever you want, But I think so many people have the more mentality and the what's next mentality. And that's great, but to an extent, because that is the reason why so many people in this country and on this planet are so depressed, is because nothing's ever enough for them. And I think a lot of people are depressed because of things that are ultimately outside of their control. And for me, it's like, I'm not in a contact sport. Like I have no control directly over, how fast Kaylee goes or how fast Summer goes. Like I have no control over it. You can maybe say like, oh, but from the mental side, like, I don't know, but no, like I have no control over what they're doing. So why would I sit here and beat up on myself and get depressed over something that is ultimately completely out of my hands? Like all I can do is work my ass off and practice every single day and have my goals and my strategies and try to work on executing the very, very best way that I can. And then at the end of the day, walk away knowing that I really did everything that I possibly could, and hats off to my competitors because they just did a little bit better than me. But yeah, there's just no point, because for years, when I would lose a race, I would just be like, I hate this. Like, I'm so disappointed in myself. I'll never forget, my rock bottom was my freshman year NCAAs. I had never been so depressed in my entire life. Like after the 100 back, I was third in that. And the way that I was talking to myself internally was absolutely atrocious. And I never want to have that type of relationship with myself ever again. And so I think I learned a lot from the success that I was blessed with at a young age. It was a blessing and a curse, because then I think it drove me into a very deep hole for a long time. And I've had to claw my way out of that hole. And I think I will never let myself fall into that hole again. So I think that's why I always choose to be kind to myself and not sow a bunch of frustration when I don't win. And it's been a very long journey to get there. But I'm just like, what's the point? My goodness, what is the point? The point of being on this earth is to like see the beauty in life and be happy about it, and realize that life is about things like, oh my gosh, like what a pretty sunset it is today, or wow, like I got to see my dog, and that was like, just things like that. It's just like, it doesn't need to be about like the color of the medal that I have, even though again, it's great to reach your goals and do exactly what you want to do. That's going to be the goal always. But I just can't fall into that hole if I don't do it. And I think a lot of people do, and it sucks. So yeah. I talk, so I'm sorry.
How do you follow that? You can't follow that, Coleman. I don't know how you follow that.
No, this is amazing. I mean, it's so refreshing to hear. I hope anyone listening takes note. I certainly hope our commenters take note, because I mean, it's something that you have to have compassion for. And it's like, again, your freshman year NCAAs was a great performance. I mean, you got third in the 100 back. You pulled off this amazing double, 2 back, 2 fly double. Like, but again, it's like that, and that was your rock bottom.
Yeah.
So it's just it's great to hear you're in a better place now, and also that you're fighting to stay in that place.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you for saying that, and I appreciate you mentioning that about the comments too, because I think that can be such a wrench that gets thrown into what you guys do here on SwimSwam. And I respect because all you guys are trying to do is report the news in swimming. And I think you guys do an exceptional job of remaining unbiased and just reporting what's going on. And I don't know, I just think it can be unfortunate where the comments go sometimes. I don't know. I just feel like sometimes people can do it because I think it feels good when their comments get a lot of upvotes or something. Like it can just give them a little pat on the back for their ego. I don't know. But it's just like, all the people who have something to say would never, ever say it to your face, would never say it on their actual like public social media that's there. Like they just do it behind something that's completely anonymous. And I don't know, it's just I find it very cowardly, and it's not something that I would ever do, or it's not something that people in my circle would ever think is okay to do either. And also, it's like, if you guys have something that is slightly polarizing to say, you guys say it under your true names. Like, you're not afraid to, like, you know. And so I just wish that people would think about that before they say some of the things that they say.
Do you follow Abby Weitzel's TikTok?
I do. And I have to say that when she posted that, I texted her privately after, because I was like, I don't look at the comments for a reason. Like, I think it's unfortunate that I had to see that on my page, because it was after my 2 fly, when I had a really bad 2 fly, and people had nasty things to say about me, like, for no reason, you know? And I'm just like, what do you, like, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. I can't win. Like, it's the double taper thing, right? Like, I couldn't taper for nationals because I wanted to be my fastest at worlds. But it's like, if I don't win everything on a national soil, if I'm not always on my best time, I'm washed, or I'm not as good as like, whatever. People have a million things to say all the time, and their opinions can be really crazy sometimes. And so I do enjoy proving people wrong too, just making people, be like, okay, well, you have no idea what you're talking about, obviously. But at the same time, I don't want to give those things attention or the time of day. And so I think when I saw that video, it was unfortunate, because then I was just thinking about it. And then I was aware of the fact that anytime I didn't have a performance that was absolutely phenomenal, I was like, great, what are people saying about it now? When for a very long time, I wasn't even thinking about it. So I really appreciated what Abby was trying to do, because she had some pretty funny responses on her video, like what she was saying in response to those people. But I think it was unfortunate that it showed up on my For You page and I saw it like without meaning to. Yeah.
Yeah, like Caleb's like, I don't look at your comments, and I turn off my social media during on the roll he meets. But what she was doing, we shared what she did. I was just like, we need to have Abby in the comments. It's like just floating in the comments. And people all right. We were like, what is this? But she was good.
Yeah. And I was going to say, I get it too, because it's like, the more comments that you guys have and the more traffic you guys get, it's like, it's more clicks right on the website. And so I completely understand it. It's kind of like a devil angel on your shoulder type thing, because it's like, yeah, they can be nasty, but at the same time, like, it's good to have more traffic and more people looking at it and talking about it. And I feel like a lot of people go on SwimSwam for the comments, because when it's not about you, it can be entertaining, right? Like, it's just a form of entertainment or comedy sometimes, but like, gosh, yeah. And I think too, it's important to like take it with a grain of salt and recognize, like, it doesn't have to be that deep. You don't have to take it personally. It's good to have thick skin, right? And so I think that's like another piece too. I see both sides of things sometimes, but yeah, sometimes people can just completely take things too far. I think for the most part, it's in good fun, but there's always like a couple that are like, or people who get like really involved in it when they don't actually know. I don't know. I could go forever, but it's just interesting.
No, it's, you need to, and Jack and I have these arguments a lot, especially when we're rooming together. It's like, you have to remember people are humans. It's like, if you comment with empathy, fine, but if you're just commenting and you have no sense of the world around you, or you're just, sitting at your keyboard all day, it's like, come on.
Yeah. And I try to understand it, because it's like, I've never private opinions. And I think about like, when I see news on People Magazine or like on Daily Mail, not stuff about like not swimming related stuff, I'll have my opinions about it, and I'll think it's so entertaining and so comedic. And so I need to check myself too, right? And so it's like, I don't just mean to point the fingers at everyone else and be like, I'm here all high and mighty. I never do stuff like that. And I mean, I never type it out and comment it and leave something nasty, but yeah, I'll definitely have my thoughts and feelings about other people, whether it be celebrities or things like that. So I get it. It's human nature to want to like comment on things that are going on in the world. But yeah, it's just like, I don't know. Do you have to type it out all the time? Because that's never been something that I've thought to do. But again, I see so many sides of it, right? Because at the end of the day, it's entertaining to read. I read comments on like Instagram posts of Daily Mail and stuff like that. So I don't want to sit here and be a hypocrite. So yeah.
No, it's fine. So you made the devil angel comparison, and that reminded me of one of the funniest interview moments I've had recently, which was with the Walsh sisters, where I asked them the differences between them. And Gretchen was like, well, I'm a little more, I just like do what I feel. And sometimes, I like to buy myself nice things. And, Alex is a little more conservative, and she's like, no, you shouldn't do that. But then Kate like always eggs me on and tells me I should.
It's the worst.
And then
It's the worst.
and she's like, it's like a little devil and angel. Like Kate's the angel and Alex is the devil. And I was like, shouldn't it be reversed? Like if Alex, and she's like, well, no, not for me, because I want to be able to do it.
That's
But
so Gretchen.
I'll just to say, it sounds like a really hard experience, but did you have good moments outside the pool in Singapore, or was this a purely business trip and then out?
No, it was so fun. Like, thank goodness. And I think like we were all able to look at what we went through illness wise, very glass half full, because we were like all going through it together. Everyone had a crazy story about what they'd gone through personally, because like the stomach stuff is no joke and it can make you do some crazy things. And so we would all just have a ball sitting at meal times together talking about like what crazy thing happened to us that day. Like we all bonded so much. So it was really fun. It was really, really fun. It was this weird situation where half the time we were like, I want to go home so bad. And the other half of the time we were just like, I'm having so much fun, just like, so we had a really great time. I didn't get to explore Singapore much because I swam days 2 through 8. So I was kind of locked in. And before the meet started, I was in so much pain half the time that I didn't really want to leave my room. But no, I love these trips so much and I never take them for granted. And it's crazy thinking that I'm 23 now and that was my 8th trip, I think, 8th consecutive trip. And it's just like, I'm not going to be doing this forever. So every time I caught myself thinking, I want to get the heck out of here, I tried to check myself and be like, no, do you actually? Like one day you're going to be like, oh my God, what I wouldn't give to be on a Team USA trip right now. So I had a really good time. I always do.
That's so great.
Did you vacation afterwards?
Oh no, now I can't hear you guys. Are you kidding?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Oh. I can.
All right. Did you vacation after Singapore?
Yes. Yeah.
Did you break?
So Kate, Gretchen, Alex, and I, and then one of my childhood friends, and then one of Kate's childhood friends, we all went to the Four Seasons Maui. They were kind enough to give us a deal. They reached out to us shortly after Paris last summer, and we could use it until the end of the 2025 calendar year. So we picked this time to go, and once in a lifetime experience, like absolutely crazy. And I'm a White Lotus fan. So
I was going to say, is this like White Lotus experience? Okay.
Yes. Like it was so incredible to just veg out for a couple of days. And when I'm on vacation, I don't like to have an itinerary. I just like to do a whole lot of nothing. So it was like just the reset and recharge that I needed. 10 out of 10. It was great. We had great food, got a good tan, went to the beach. It was awesome.
It wasn't White Lotus-esque. Nobody died. Nothing crazy.
Thankfully, no. And Jennifer Coolidge wasn't there, and that sucks.
I think Jared could like White Lotus more than millennials and Gen Z. But just is my opinion.
Say the first part.
I think Gen X likes White Lotus more than Gen Z or millennials. But just my opinion. You're in Austin. Favorite taco? Have you been out?
I was just about to ask it.
Yeah.
So sadly enough, I'm not a huge Tex-Mex girl, and I'm not a huge barbecue girl either, which is so sad. I know, like I'm in the wrong place, right? But I've had a lot of fun. I know. It's terrible. Like
do you like in Austin?
I know this is very random because you wouldn't think that this would be a good spot, but Lindsay Looney and I, she's my roommate. So we fell in love with this food truck on the east side called Wow Pokey. Exceptional pokey. So good. So we love going there. We went to this other place called Casa Bianca over on the east side, and it's so good. So we're having a lot of fun, like trying different restaurants and things like that. But yeah, I'm not like, I've been to Terry Black's and Stubbs, and I'm not a huge barbecue person, sadly. I think barbecue is more like about the experience for me than the food. So no, but I'm grateful that there's so many things to try. Like I could never run out of things to go and do there, which I love. But no, I'm so sorry. I wish I was more of a taco person, but I love like fresh Baja tacos. I'm not much of like but yeah.
That's fair. I'm not a huge barbecue person. Like I don't want to go eat it all the time, but I used to live around the corner from Terry Black's. And so it's like, I'll go there or go to La Barbecue. What's the truck that you love, Mel?
Wow Pokey.
No, sorry.
Wow Pokey.
No, what's the barbecue truck that you guys went to for a long time?
I don't remember. For barbecue, I get a KG.
KG.
Barbecue. KG's the best. Yeah, that's right. It is a truck. KG barbecue is amazing. How about breakfast places? Do you like breakfast places or no?
I do.
Wait,
Um,
where
Again,
do you go, Brandon? Oh,
Just before I left for Worlds, I had a meeting with Speedo and we went to Two Hands, and I liked that a lot, actually. I thought that was pretty good. Kirby Lane, Lindsay really likes a lot, so she took me there once. Yeah.
Kirby Lane's classic.
Yeah. I want to go to Paperboy, but I haven't been able to get in. So
Paperboy's good.
Yeah.
You'll like it a lot.
it's good. You just work here's the thing. You're a professional athlete. Just get the Michelin star, all the Michelin star restaurants, all the Michelin adjacent, all the James Beard Award winners, and just work your way through that list. Just you know, 2 of them are barbecue places, and you'd be like, this barbecue is different.
Okay, noted. All right. Yeah, maybe I could be swayed to be like, okay, I just haven't had great barbecue yet. Like,
I don't like barbecue. I'm not a barbecue fan. I grew up in the South. I'm sick of barbecue. I've eaten my weight 10 times over in barbecue. I'm sick of it. But Michelin star barbecue,
They put a spin on it.
it's a different deal and very worth it. We're just randomly going into topics right now. I don't like that Pan Packs are in Irvine next year, right?
yes.
Everyone's excited about it, right? That's awesome. I don't like that Kaylee is going to be going to an international meet the year before in this hemisphere. I wanted her to come in cold in LA. I wanted you to have full advantage of the hemisphere advantage.
Oh, I see.
That's a dry run. So I was just like, that makes me angry.
I hear you, but also like if I like, of course, again, the goal is to win, like in LA, like always, right? And she's been a very noble competitor, so I have a lot of respect for her. I'm very grateful that this isn't some nasty rivalry. Like that's not my jam at all. That's not my thing, and I wouldn't like play into it if it was. But if I'm gonna win, I want it to be like when we are both 100% on our A game, everything has gone right for absolutely both of us, and we both post insane times. Like that is truly what I want. And then if she gets like, I'm just spitting out random times, but if she wins in 2028 and she goes 56.7 and I go 56.8, like, you know what I mean? Or if it's like that is what I want. Like that is absolutely what I want. And that's what I'm hoping for. I want to do it in SoFi Stadium in front of 40,000 people and have it be a big, crazy thing. And yeah, whatever way it goes, I want it to be when we actually are both so confidently being like, everything has gone exactly according to plan and we are both ready to go, like full stops ahead. But I do hear you, right? Like it would, but no, yeah. Next year.
We're just sharing feelings now. This is Scram. Like, just grab bags of feelings. So Team USA was sick, and that was the news, and that dominated the news. And then she's like, and my shoulder was dislocated. I was just like, meh.
I hadn't even heard about that. I had no clue because credit to her, she didn't talk about it really in the locker room. She didn't talk about it in the ready room or anything. So, and I don't really like to follow swimming news like while I'm competing or like I try to like to have separation. So I truthfully don't really like to know what's going on like overseas, even like just during the season, during training. But yeah, so I had no idea. And then I think she mentioned it to me, I think after the 200 back before we were going out to the medal ceremony. And I was like, I had no idea this whole time. So yeah, I'm very like off the grid, I suppose, in terms of swimming news. Yeah. I mean, that stinks. That sucks. I've never had that happen to me, but I can only imagine how much pain she was probably in. So yeah.
I'm so sad that you don't wake up every single day and just dive into the SwimSwam comments and read every single one of them.
Yeah, I was thinking about this the other day, you guys. Like, this is something I think. Do you guys know who James Charles is?
James Charles.
There's rings of bell.
I don't.
Okay, well, anyways, he's this like Gen Z influencer, but he said something in one of his videos like a year or two ago, and it has stuck with me. Because he's a very like polarizing influencer, and so people love him, people hate him. He's done some things that have warranted people being like, you're a problem, like we need to cancel you. But anyways, he was talking about like hate and how he deals with it, and he was like, I have my iPhone. It was $1,500, whatever it was. This is my perfectly curated little box that I pay a lot of money for. Why would I want to pay money to see something nasty about myself or something about someone else that I don't want to see and I have no business seeing? And I was like, wow, like, honestly, like, he makes a good point. Like, so then after that, I was like, I don't want to, if there's something I don't want to see, I don't need to punish myself by seeing it. Like I can just like delete it or block it or get rid of it. And it's not a nasty thing. It's not personal. It's just like, hey, like this is my special little box. Like this is my world. Like I pay a lot of money for it. Like why would I welcome in nasty, negative things in this little box? You know what I mean? So, and I'm sure people have different opinions about that too, but I don't know, like that stuck with me big time. And so I was like, wow, I'm not going to go seek out these things anymore. Like, so yeah, ever since then, that's what
for pro athletes. I can't recommend it. I can't say you should be on SwimSwam because really don't think you should. I also Googled James Charles, and the second thing that comes up is, does James Charles have a BBL?
That's like him in a nutshell. He's just he's mentioning that. Yeah, those were his words. And also, yeah, with the point of SwimSwam, like everyone who's in my life who is not a swimmer, like my childhood best friend who I brought to Maui, my grandparents, my calculus teacher in math in high school, like they love SwimSwam because it's such a friendly way to view swimming, and you guys break it down and make it, you know, accessible for people who don't necessarily follow the sport. And yeah, my friend Hannah, who was in Maui, she was like, yeah, like I watched the nightly recaps and I read through it and I think it's great. And she doesn't read the comments because she knows better at this point. But yeah, like it's awesome what you guys are doing. And yeah. So, but yeah, when you're the athlete in it, I agree with you.
We're winding down now, obviously. So I just want to say, if you're on Instagram, you can follow Regan Smith 4. Regan Smith 4. She's got the check marks, 152,000 followers. I don't know if she's kept her profile updated. It's Speedo. Speedo she's a partner with Speedo, Nulo, Foss Swim School, and Omega. Is that up to date?
No, I need to add Toyota. Thank you for reminding me.
Toyota. So whoa, that's pretty badass. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 major partners.
Yeah, 5. Yeah, great brands to be a part of. So I'm very thrilled.
Good for you. That's awesome. Do you feel like this is a personal question. We're not asking for specific numbers, but being in a domestic Olympic run-up, do you feel like economically, it's getting better? Are contracts getting better, or is it flat? Is it gone backwards? Is it not just for yourself, but like speak for your peers? I've got some information on this.
Yeah, I think as far as like swimming specific brands go, I think we're seeing a decline. What it again then ties into the stipend thing, right? It's like it's getting harder for people to get suit sponsorships. It's getting very competitive. And so then, yeah, it's like if people don't get re-signed, then that's another reason to be like, I need stipend help. I need APA help. You know what I mean? So that just goes right back to that. But yes, I think there's been a decline. Yeah. But I feel very grateful with what I do have for sure.
It should be pointed out that before, it used to be historically United States Swimming had one partner in the swimwear category, and then they rolled up 3 at one point. So it used to be just Speedo, now it's Speedo Tier Arena. It's currently now it's Speedo Tier, but it's for years and years since Speedo Tier Arena. Arena looks like they might come back into the mix, but when governing bodies when swimwear companies make these partnerships, they're big partnerships. They're massive investments. And then they're contracting with athletes and the budgets are smaller. And it's not advantageous for the sport. It's my opinion that our Olympic brand is not USA Swimming, the Shield. Our brand is the athlete and the stories and those narratives that we connect to emotionally. Mm-hmm. So I would like to see the investment there.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, yeah, people want to know like who we are as people because yeah, that's what makes us easier to root for and easier to get more engaged with. We were talking about this in Singapore. It's like track and field, the big stars in track and field. I feel like they get so much more engagement with the general population because you see so much more of their personalities, you know, like the way they celebrate after races, the rivalries, the way that they can express themselves and their hair, their nails, whatever. Like, I feel like there's just so much more intimacy with like track and field and the way that viewers can interact with. Hopefully I'm not going off on a tangent of what you were saying, Mel. But yeah, I think swimming, sometimes that can be lacking. Come here. My kitty's in here again. I feel like that can be lacking because I feel like sometimes we miss that, like the intimate connection between the viewer and the athlete. I feel like we aren't able to show as much of our personality as some of the other sports do. And so it would be nice, going back to what you were saying about the brand, showcasing more of that, if that made sense.
No, yeah. I mean, it's been such a great thing about No, it's been such a great thing about, I think, nails specifically becoming such a centerpiece of expressing yourself, because it's like, we don't see your hair, you swimsuit covering most of your body, like you're not wearing anything else. It's like you have to be pretty, pun intended, streamlined, right, in terms of how you look. And so that is hard when you're competing, when you're doing the thing that people are going to know you for.
Yay. No, I completely agree with you. And now she's gone. But completely. Yeah, it's like we have to maximize like the ways that we can express ourselves to make those connections.
It is my opinion that, so I think that we have a USA Swimming comms department, a division, and they're reactive, and they react, and they're defensive in their messaging to protect what they think is whatever it is they're doing. I would like to see the comms department flipped and become proactive and not reactive, and be more like a PR agency and telling our stories, which means selling our message, and which means you can't really sell this logo. You're selling the stories of your stars. And we've had moments throughout history since we've been an organization since 1980 where that was happening, but they were short-lived. And I've always wanted to see a concerted effort where we had this engaged governing body they spend $1.1 million on communications.
Crazy.
And I would like to see that invested in telling the story, because I do think that would translate into more revenue and more attention. But, yeah.
I appreciate you saying that. No notes there from me.
If we can help.
Regan, like something I said. She did. And she does, but she doesn't like tacos. This is such a conflicting interview. I don't know how I feel. I'm going to be unpacking this for hours.
No, I think this has been a great interview. I think we can safely wrap here, but Regan, thank you so much for taking the time to unpack so much of your last few months and speak to us about World Champs.
Yeah, and thank you guys for giving me the space to speak candidly about all of this too. I know some of these topics were like a little bit dicier than others to cover, but yeah, I always speak as much as I can from a logical and straightforward perspective, and I'm always trying to be respectful of others, and I never want anyone to assume that anything I'm saying is coming off as anything other than just logical and to the point and respect. I never have an agenda going on when I do these things with you guys, so yeah, thank you for giving me the space to do that.